just in case you don't know, these videos aren't edited. This is my boredom vlog, and whenever I think of something I might want to talk about, I post it. I wanted to talk about things like stage fright and honestly just anxieties in general. Creative people tend to be introverted. Like, that's pretty common. And tend to be socially awkward and tend to be just like, we're great at what we do, and we can even know we're great at what we do, but it can be terrifying. To more than anything, the hardest thing for a lot of creative people to do is be their own agent. Have your own agency. Not feel like an imposter. But that's the truth. Is I've met a lot of very successful entertainers. All right, I'm talking people you've seen on TV, and if there's one thing all of them had in common, you would be surprised. Like, picture this: you meet someone, you've seen them on TV, you know they're great at what they do, and you're backstage with them, and they are even more nervous than you are. And that's a very endearing quality, because it makes little guys like me feel good about myself, and little people like you feel good about yourself. And by little I just mean, not as successful financially, but yeah, I mean, that's something I think doesn't get talked about much, is even the best of the best are nervous as shit backstage. And that's really what separates the wheat from the chaff. It's not that they're less nervous than you or cut from a different cloth. They're just as nervous, if not more, and they go up there and they do it. Or they go out there and they do it. They go and they get themselves booked. They go and, they do the business aspect. And that's something to just keep in mind. And I wanted to, share a bit of my personal, story, because I should be a lot more successful. But I have jumped in and out of entertainment my whole life because I just lose faith in myself, or I lose interest, or anything across the board. But it all started, when I was 17, and for a teenager, I had done great, but no one in my area. I grew up in a small town in Alaska, and, Alaskans work. We are famous for our work ethic. I personally am not of that boat. I don't have the greatest work ethic, but my family, just the way you get treated when you're actually a creative person, it's not, they care, they want you to do good, but they're all, they just make you feel like shit about who you are without realizing it. They don't, they think that they're trying to help you, but it's that thing called, I think it's called loving damage, where someone means well, but they end up hurting you, and I just completely just laid my guitar down one day and went and joined the army, and then I came home, and it was really hard. It took me a long time, really up until recently, to actually start becoming myself again. Because being in the military just locks you up tight. You don't want to draw attention to yourself. You don't want to make an ass out of yourself. You don't want to have fun. You're very reserved and proper, and, your gig line and everything. And plus, war, trauma, not the greatest outlook on humanity. So recently, just this year, early this year, I finally just decided, this is who I am. I'm going to try to make it work. And my first step, because something that always terrified me, absolutely terrified me, was singing on stage. I never cared about, I know I'm good at guitar, and even, I'm at a point where even if you don't like what I play, you can't deny my skills. But I'm not like that with singing. I'm a okay singer on a good day. However, I knew that I needed to do this if I wanted to move forward, because when you want to be a professional artist or entertainer, you have to be able to do anything that you think will help you. You got to be able to pull any lever that's available. And it is the most terrified I've ever been going on stage. But I went to I decided to go to a local open mic, and I learned how to play and sing The Dragonborn Comes, because I was trying to make it fun. When dealing with something that feels huge and very overwhelming, you got to find ways to make it less huge and overwhelming. And by singing The Dragonborn Comes, it's just more fun. You could play it off like a joke, stuff like that. And anyway, so I went down to the open mic and signed up, which for anyone, for a lot of you might have not even gotten to that point. You might be nervous. Like you walk up into a bar, the people are just all drinking, and if you're kind of like me and a bit introverted, just standing out, holding a guitar in the middle of a bar draws attention to you. And it's like, you kind of got this, can I play music here, please? Like kind of mentality, just this belief that you're not bringing any value to the species by wanting to be an artist or an entertainer. But yeah, and then, so I got set up. I got signed up, met the host, great dude. And I went on, I believe, second or third, and I was locked up scared. In most situations, if you meet me, if I'm about to go play play on stage just guitar or play a gig, even nowadays just in my band, I don't get nervous at all. I just don't. I don't care. But I had to get over this fucking whatever those things you jump over in track, hurdle. I had to get over this hurdle. So I go up there, I'm shaking, I'm sweating, and I just could barely talk. It was bad, but I managed to at least get off a couple of jokes and take command of the room and get everyone laughing. And this is something I've always told people, when they are nervous on stage, just be honest. I know it's not the most professional thing, but you're not at the professional phase yet. So if you're just starting out and you're scared shitless to be on stage, when you get up on stage, be honest with people. Just tell them sorry, I'm really nervous. I'm trying to get through this. And believe it or not, the crowd will be accepting of you. Because really what pisses off crowds is when you try to act like you're hot shit and you do badly. Crowds do not like disingenuity. That's a hard word. Disingenuousness, I think, is the actual word. But yeah, it's that the worst thing you can do on stage is convince people you're lying to them or bullshitting them or fucking with them. Being disingenuous. That's what's going to get them mad at you. Going up there and acting like you're in control when you're not. But when you're just honest with the crowd, their whole outlook towards you changes. Yeah, you're probably not going to get any fans that night, because now they know that you're not really a professional yet. So, just be honest. And the exact words that I said that night, because I was just sweating and trembling, scared out of my fucking mind, was I straight up told them, here's what's going to happen. I'm scared to sing on stage. So I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to go hide in the smoking room and chain smoke so that I don't have to be around any of you. And it was much better and organic that night, but, I got a good laugh out of that. And it didn't lower my anxiety levels, but I played the song, and I sang, and I closed my eyes when I was singing, because I just couldn't do it. And I even screwed up in the middle of the song and like called out the crowd like, yeah, I fucked up, fuck you. And then I kept singing the song and I still got another laugh. And I did exactly what I said I was going to do. I finished the song, I got off stage, I ran to the smoking room and just started anxiety smoking, man, panic smoking. Like it but then I'm not as weird about it anymore. I was getting ready to do an acoustic set around town to make money, and I ended up in a band where I can I still do backing vocals, but I can focus mostly on guitar, which is my passion, And so I'm happy that I didn't have to go through with that yet, but I still may have to one day. Either way, and then going from that point, once I got into the band I'm currently in, I would break the cardinal rule of being in a rock metal band, and at first I would go up on stage and I would just death stare my fretting hand, or just like anything not to look at the crowd. When you're a guitarist, you make the excuse that you need to watch your fretting hand, but you do and you don't. You can just peek at it while you're actually being a professional and thrashing around and making, having fun. Being a that's the weird thing about doing what I do as a metal guitarist is it's my job to have fun. And because I enjoy thrashing around. I'm a metalhead. I love being a fucking metalhead. But I had to get used to being on stage again in that caliber to where I can just loosen up. And, you see how it's kind of going in phases, though? Like, first I had to get over this big hurdle for singing. And then I had to get through this discomfort of being on stage. And the sad truth is, I think for a lot of artists and entertainers, is they get to that point where they're just on stage and they get comfortable, but they never decide to move past that stage to actually get to the final point of being entertaining, because I think even that's like maybe a discomfort for them, or they think they're too good for that, or it's beneath them. But either way, just keep pushing your comfort levels. You'll eventually get to where you're not uncomfortable with anything. I actually had a breakthrough yesterday. I started doing follow-ups on the phone for our acoustic set, and for most of my life I haven't been able to do that. I've always felt really weird pitching my band or pitching my projects. Like, it just feels super weird to do that and just call a bunch of people and get a bunch of L's and W's and maybes and not nows. But now that I think about it, it's not that I've never been comfortable with it. I never took that step. Like when I was 16, I called like maybe a couple of people to see if my band could play at a venue, which for a 16-year-old, respect. But I never, as a grown man, I was always just so weird about trying to sell, period. But then yesterday I actually broke through and did it and found out it was a lot of fun. It really is kind of one of those love of the game situations. So if you're nervous about that, like selling yourself, marketing yourself, just start doing it. It's fun. It's a game. Always push your comfort levels. Your anxieties and insecurities, they will just go away as you get exposed to the things that provoke them in you. And you need, but go at your own pace. I understand not everybody can cope. Not everybody's the same. Not everybody can cope as quickly as others. I'm pretty much personally, when it comes to my anxieties and insecurities, I rip the Band-Aid off once or twice, and I'm set. Some people need to keep doing it a few times, but the good news is if you just keep facing your discomfort, eventually it will go away, no matter how impossible it sounds. And if, that's also, I could keep going with this and going with this. I do recognize that watching any of my vlogs, if you watch them, is like watching an episode of Aqua Teen Hunger Force coming into existence. I'm all over the fucking place. But like I say at the beginning of my videos, I don't edit this shit. But yeah, so hope you got some value out of this. drop a comment. Don't subscribe. I'm not proud of what I do on here. I am a legitimate, like, content creator, and I don't put any effort into this channel. Or you can subscribe if you want. Maybe you want to. I'm not going to tell you what to do with your life.